Well, welcome, Sound Advice, Hearing Friendly Business Podcast listeners. Today, we're going to get to hear about something that we all need. Our body is 80% fluid of some form, and we all need water each and every day. But it depends on what kind of water you drink that helps your ear health, because that's what we focus on here, but it also helps your body health all over. And for those of you on Zoom, I am going to just lift this up so that you see this, and it's not coming through real super clear, but I will take an image of it and put it up. And I'm probably going to enunciate it wrong with my hearing loss, but we'll have our expert on soon. So it's called Kangen Waters, so Kagen Waters, and it's antioxidant rich structured water that's between 8.5 and 9.5 pH. So that's alkaline. So today we have Debbie, and I'm going to let Debbie do her introduction and let her tell us about her, both her professional life, her personal life, and why she started selling this water and maybe other opportunities for our listeners out there. So here you go, Debbie. The floor or the podcast is all yours. I'll be inserting questions every now and then.
Oh, thank you, Teresa Barnes, so much for having me on today. And I'm honored to be on here, especially with you as a retired nurse, and just looking at hydration and helping with people with hearing loss. I mean, this is definitely something I've encountered, and that like people are encountering every single day. And with hydration, I'm just excited to talk about it because it's changed our lives looking at what's different about waters, and different machines and technologies, not just the alkalinity, but really helping our overall health. So I just want to share that I'm a mother, been married 29 years, and I have 3 adult children, and I was a very worried mother. I did not understand why my children were sick with different things, and it got me on a journey to seeing who's well and who's staying well, and I wanted to do more of what works and less of what wasn't working, which led us fast forward to magnets, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, good nutrition, diet, all these wonderful things that were helping my family. And I saw how much control we actually have just by eliminating certain foods or certain things. But I didn't understand the value of water until I heard someone speak about it at a cancer event. Now, this water, I know Kangen is actually how we pronounce it.
Thank you
It's
for that.
Kangen. So it's like kite, apple, nice, girl, excited, nice. Kangen water. It's a Japanese technology that transforms our tap water into an antioxidant rich water. And it doesn't cure, it doesn't treat, it doesn't prevent or diagnose any disease. It's just the biggest change for our health and wellness. So I'm excited to look at it regarding, this month is Valentine's Day. I love that you're wearing red. I'm wearing pink. Celebrating, with this water, I feel like we're looking at the heart health and we're looking at just the overall wellness. If we can reduce inflammation in the body, it's going to help every organ in our body, right?
Right. Absolutely. So did you have cancer in your family when you went to this particular conference that you went to and learned about the water?
Right, we did. We've lost loved ones to cancer. And we had things in our family like Lyme disease, asthma,
Hmm.
allergies, migraines, um, just things that were very stressful to see in my family. And we didn't realize that not all water is hydrating us the same way. So for instance, at this seminar, they talked about other things that were helping our health and things that were good to do. But they said the number one thing to do, no matter how you're treating, your system, is you need to look at the water first. We are mostly water. So
I
we
think
want to,
it's like 80%, isn't it?
yes, it's
So,
80%.
so
Certain organs, even our blood plasma is over 90% water. We
that's
really
new.
have
That's new for me. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
the lymphatic system, the brain, every part of our body, every cell needs water inside the cell, not just outside the cell.
Right.
So with waters, and the buzzword is alkaline water. So people are thinking, oh, I've got alkaline water. It's not just that. We need to make sure the structure is broken up so it can really get inside the aquaporin of our cell, inside that interstitial fluid, inside the aquaporin, and really help the cell function more optimally when it's hydrated. So that's what I hadn't understood before, is that it's not just clean water or alkaline.
It has to get into the aqua. What was that word again?
Aquaporin.
Aquaporin level of the cell to actually help with the O2 level, oxygen level inside the body. So I know you sent me a link for a lady who had Meniere's disease. That is a disease where it's actually an imbalance of fluid inside the inner ear. Can you expand on that a little bit and what the results were for this woman?
Right. Well, with Kangen water or any water, we're not allowed to say it cures or treats or prevents or diagnoses any disease.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is if you can reduce inflammation, and really that's a foundation for almost any disease,
Right.
is inflammation. So with this water that is structured, the hydrogen and oxygen is freed. So you have more bioavailable, the hydrogen and oxygen, and it can reduce inflammation while she's drinking it.
So did that actually get the free radicals?
Absolutely. Yes. Free radicals. I mean, we, we are scavenging free radicals with antioxidants. So you and I both know fruits and vegetables are good for us,
Right.
right? And processed foods aren't as great for us. But the fresh fruits and vegetables have active hydrogen in them. They're like living foods. So that's what's so cool about our water, is it's like a living water, like a fresh antioxidant rich water.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna use this preface and I will put it in written form, so therefore you're covered. But Kangen water does not make any medical claims at all. And I'll put that in my show notes. So just so you know, you're covered. So you don't need to repeat that one again. It'll be in there. However, I do want to explore a little bit. And to be quite honest, I didn't finish watching the whole thing. So there we are. Uh, but I'm going to get back on the lady that had Meniere's, which is a health in ear problem. So, what were her results? So, in other words, if I do have a lot of listeners, and I have a lot of listeners that might have tinnitus or tinnitus or ringing in the ears, and this is last week was Tinnitus Awareness Week. But also, I have a personal friend just down in Encinitas where he has Meniere's. In the medical field, we call it syndrome. They call it disease, but either way. So, what were her results from that? So can you share with me that video knowledge that you have for the lady with Meniere's?
Yes. Well, you can Google Kangen water and manures too, so everyone can see it.
Okay. Okay.
But the results are phenomenal. And I wouldn't be doing this if the water weren't having results. If
Okay.
if there were no results, I don't care what water
Okay.
you drink. If you're drinking clean water, that's fine. But many times, and there's three things, the reasons she had such amazing results.
Okay.
Number one, again, reducing inflammation.
Okay.
Number two, dehydration. She could have been dehydrated, drinking still a gallon of water a day, but still been dehydrated because the structure wasn't getting inside the eardrum, the ears, the brain, all of it's connected. If the
Right.
water was too big to get inside, she didn't have as much of an ability to heal. And the third thing is the alkalinity. And you and I talked about that, how you already remember you brought up those minerals that are
Right.
in, what were those minerals that are in
Well, basically, the four minerals for happy hearing health are magnesium, potassium, zinc, and folate. So the zinc actually it's found in oysters, which is not good for heart health, since we're talking about Heart Health Month, because it's high in cholesterol. But what is in zinc is dark chocolate. And we're talking about the kind that may be at Trader Joe's. It's at 89% cocoa or 72, and you can even get it at the 99-cent store with 72% cocoa in it. So anything that's up. So the milk chocolate is not as good as the dark chocolate as far as those results. And what it does is you have approximately 22,000, ideally, hair silica or cilia inside of the cochlear. The cochlear is like the microchip of the ear. It's the size of a pea, so that's how small it is, with 22,000 little hair follicles floating around trying to catch its sound. When its sound comes in, like a microchip on a computer, it pops up. I'll put my finger over here so those on YouTube can see it better. And then it captures its sound because it's mechanical energy at that point. And it converts it to the little hair follicle, converts it to, and we call it a cilia in the medical field. So that's what we call it. But it converts it to electrical energy and it sends it to the brain. I don't like the word shoot these days, but it sends it to the brain. And the brain computes it or translates it into language that we understand in 0.05 seconds. So that's why it's important for the brain, who is part of hearing, and the actual ear organ, so not the outside of your ear, your pinea, to get that oxygen that they need or decrease inflammation. But they need to actually, because it processes that sound really, really fast and really, really quick. And it's the kind of thing that once the hair follicles have been pushed down or blown out, whichever term you want to put, like seaweed in the ocean, because Debbie and I are both here in sunny Southern California. Seaweed in the ocean, the seaweed grows back, but the hair follicles do not grow back. Once they're gone, they're gone. The end. And then you're stuck with wearing hearing aids, which I highly recommend that you wear them. Or if you need to, you get a cochlear implant. And there is a young man that I helped years ago, 14 years ago, that he was a little baby at 5 months old. His parents heard well, his sister heard well, and they didn't have a clue as to what the pediatric nurse at Children's Hospital was saying to them when they said, your baby has profound hearing loss. So this family happened to be in IT before IT was really cool. This man worked for Cox Cable at the time. So he did his research and he found out that the profound meant that technically without some sort of medical prosthetic device or cochlear implant, then his son would be deaf. And he didn't want his son to be deaf because all three of them heard well. And so they went ahead and did this bilateral cochlear implant. And so this child right now is 14 years old, making stellar grades, and luckily has a good group of friends, so therefore he's supported. But his dad did say that there is some social distancing between him and the people who hear well. So if we can get this knowledge out about how loud sound the cilia can be protected. And I don't know about in utero, but if you listen to a hand dryer in a bathroom, you put your hand underneath it, it's over 125 decibels, which can blow out the cochlear hair cells of a baby in utero. I don't know that that happened with this family. And this family has been in my court for the last 14 years. So they're a family that truly hears and sees what I'm doing. So in reference to inflammation, that is something that there are foods that you can eat, to help with that. The magnesium helps with the ringing in the ears. So it does the same thing. It helps the cilia. And then red wine is actually helps vasodilate the blood vessels. So therefore the Kangen water, did I say it right, Debbie?
Yes. Kangen, Kangen.
We don't care how you say it, as long as you drink it and use it. And I've been using it for the last week. I can taste the difference. For me, I was drinking 4 ounces or 4 liters of Carlsbad alkaline water because I live here locally in Carlsbad. So that's what I was drinking. So it wasn't a major switch for me. I have had the COVID vaccine this last Saturday. So therefore, my system, I know is probably a little different than it normally is. So I've been drinking usually 3 liters of Kangen water. And I'm going to stick with that enunciation. So Kagan, Kugan, but Kang. And so that's what it is. And I'll have it in show notes. And I can taste the difference in it. I did wash my face with it the other day. So for that, you have a different pH. I have not washed any of my fruits with it. So that's a different pH as well. Your fruits and vegetables can be washed with it. And Debbie has, if you're locally, I don't know what she does for people who are not local, but we will have her contact Debbie Carlson in the show notes later. So you can contact her to find out how you're going to process that. And I'm sorry about my throat, but that's where it is. But I have tasted the difference, and I'm usually drinking about 3 liters per day. So is that what they kind of recommend for women?
Right. It's all individual based on, your body, but most people drink 3 liters of Kangen water a day. And yeah, we don't care if you say Kangen, Kangen. That's the beauty of this is you get to be yourself and there's no right or wrong. Can I just go back? I love what you're saying. I learn so much every time we chat and just about the minerals that we leave in Kangen water. So it's great for ear health. We leave the calcium and magnesium in the water where some companies create a water that's depleting or taking all the good minerals out of it. And that's really actually harmful. So we might think we're drinking clean water, but it's not good for our health. And then I love, we're talking about why did it help with the Meniere's? Why does it help with our ear health? Not just the minerals and reducing inflammation, but a lot of times people do not realize they're dehydrated. We think, oh, if I'm not thirsty, I must not be dehydrated. But with looking at your body, if you have dry mouth, dizziness, the serious things like inability to sweat or muscle aches can even be dehydration, just fatigue, dry lips, dry skin. We don't always relate that my skin is hydrated from changing my water versus using so many lotions.
So can you look at your hands and see whether you have whether you're hydrated or not? So
Yes.
so what do? You pinch them?
Yeah, so you want to pinch the top of your back of your hand and see how quickly it goes back down. And if
Well,
it
yours went
stays,
right back down.
oh
Let's
yeah,
see. Okay, we'll do this test for me.
if
Mine
it's
did the same thing. So your water must be working. Yay.
if your skin stays up, it's a sign of, seriously dehydrated, but people
Right.
don't notice. So we could be looking at problems that could be resolved from simply changing your water if your water hydrates you better.
Okay. So I'm recently on this detox program as well. And so I have been, and I'm asking you personally, but this is also for our listeners. And I haven't always been using your water for this, just so you know. So your water is kind of sacred. I've been putting it over on the side, but are there any disadvantages of putting, say, apple cider vinegar and lemonade or lemon juice inside of this water? I mean, will it make it more acid? Or is it, I know you probably didn't prep for this one, but there we are. So,
No, it's good to look at all of our organs are alkaline. So I love this question because I get asked it a lot. Um, not just what we're adding to the water, but what happens when we're drinking waters. So when we drink water in between meals, the Kangen water, it it just goes right into your cells. You don't create any HCl unless you're eating. So when you eat food, your stomach creates that stomach acid to break down your food. When we're drinking something that's gonna alkaline, Kangen water is alkaline without chemicals, without additives. So it's very easy on your body. There are other things like you mentioned, Teresa, that um, lemons and apple cider vinegar, they test acidic, but they turn alkaline in the body. It's just
oh,
a little bit of work for the body to turn them alkaline, but it's a great thing to do. It doesn't affect, whenever you're drinking Kangen water, we just switch over to it 100%.
okay.
Unless you're taking a medication, then you drink
Oh,
Kangen water all day long, except for the half an hour to 45 minutes before or after you take your medication.
oh,
Then,
that's really good to know. Okay. And is this a Japanese-based company or I've never heard of it. And I know we went over the enunciation a couple of times.
yes, the company is amazing. So Japan, if you ever see those Toyotas on the road, I mean, they like are running forever, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I have one of those.
Yes, we do too. We want to buy things that are built to last, that are great value. So this is a 47-year-old Japanese company. They are an original equipment manufacturer. They do not outsource anything because they're all about that meticulous quality control. It's backed as a medical device in Japan, although here in the USA, it's just a water system. We have a Food and Drug Administration, but if it plugs into the wall,
I
they
don't
don't.
touch it. Yeah.
So it's just water.
It's just water. So is it, do you do it like an MLM or you would direct distributor or just how exactly does that part work?
Yeah, there's misinformation on the internet saying it's an MLM. This is a direct sales company,
Okay.
support from a team. So it's
Okay.
different because you don't need to buy something every month. You don't have quotas or things like that. It's just get one for yourself. And if you're like me and you can't stop telling people about it,
Right.
then the company says, thank you. Thank you for referring people. So we've helped about 1,200 families over the last 8 years. And it feels great. I live for the texts or the videos or the messages that it's changed another life, that somebody's life is better, whether it's just their skin, hopefully their ears. I'm excited to reach more people and get more testimonies of what it's personally doing for hard of hearing or hearing in Meniere's or anything like that. We'd love to um, get more testimonies.
More testimony. Well, your skin looks absolutely phenomenal. So
Thank you. I was
must
born
be
in
a
the
lot,
60s.
must be a lot of popped up cells there that are just pounding out all over the place, So yeah, it looks really good. Yeah.
We also call it happy water. So if you know anybody who's a little crabby, we got to get them the water. So they
Okay, well, that was a nice word to use rather than depressed, So a little bit crabby. So I know you mentioned that it helps with um, oh, let's see, the word is escaping me now. Migraines. There we go. With migraines. And so that's something I know several people who do have that. And then I know a lot of women, I'm past that stage, but a lot of women who still go through menopause or have their cycles every month. Then that's another area where the body does build up fluids. I mean, and that's part of the reason why people do have the migraines and they do have the cramping and all that stuff because the body is trying to somehow or another figure out a way to release all of that. So if the water is happy water or healthy water or um, hydrated water, so we could use the three H's, then hey, we're doing it impromptu, so here we are. But it's the kind of thing that would you recommend, somebody who has the migraines and all of those other female symptoms that kind of plug the system up where where you can't, you just are not living life to the fullest and you're not happy. So what do you have to say about that, Debbie?
Right. Well, I have been astounded with the testimonies we have in these areas. Just amazed. Um, Definitely try it because
Mhm.
the testimonies are amazing. If the migraines are from inflammation again, dehydration, or you're depleted in minerals, you're going to have a profound effect. If it's from, you know, a head injury or something where it's structural, it might not have the benefit, but it won't hurt. There's no harm.
No problem. Okay.
And for the
How would people find you?
well, I am still on old school Facebook. I love Facebook. I guess
Well, I have you to know there are 2.8 billion people that are old schooling Facebook the same way you do. So, so, there's nothing old school about that at all. Yeah. So
I've heard people are switching to other formats, but
I
yeah,
know.
Debbie
Yeah.
J. Carlson on Facebook. And I'd love to meet you. I'd love to help more people and link arms. And I appreciate your mission so much, Teresa.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah. So as many of my listeners know, I am working on helping the world really, but in particular the United States, become hearing loss aware. And the reason why people with good hearing or hearing well people need to know about this is because 1 in 5 Americans do currently have hearing loss. And it affects so if you take that extrapolation of the United States population, that's 65 million Americans that have the leading communication disability. So it's a disorder. It's covered under ADA 2008. So for any of you business listeners out there, then I have training called Hearing Friendly Business Training to actually help you know what to do proactively. Because it took about 20 years until people in wheelchairs, which there are only 3.4 million people in wheelchairs, canes, and walkers. That's all. And I wouldn't want to be in a wheelchair. So I had this hearing loss since birth. So I've adapted very well. But I am a member and also have worked with San Diego County. And years ago, I presented this to a group. And one of the men ended up, he was a walking, normal, everyday, happy individual. And he ended up getting MS. So he was in a wheelchair. And then as recently as I'll say a year ago, I re-met him, and he's now in his wheelchair, but now he has hearing loss. So I went, oh, Teresa, I wish I had listened to you before. I kept going to the bars and I didn't wear any sort of ear protective devices, which there are high fidelity earplugs that you can get where you block out the sound and you still block out the noise and you still hear the sound. So it's the kind of thing that if you're somewhere where you know you're going to go to fireworks or anything that's over 85 decibels, and you can download your decibel app on your phone. So therefore you can see whether your environment is ear safe or not ear safe. Yeah. But thank you for that, Debbie. And it's the kind of thing that I really would love to have restaurants be able to give us your water. I would love that. And then I also would love to, and I'm going to probably screw up the enunciation again, but my listeners are used to me with that. So there we go. So, but I knew I was going to memorize it, but Kagan, no, say it for me. Say it the right way, the Japanese way.
Kangen.
Kangen. Okay. So how can I remember that? Kong. Kong. What else starts with Kong?
Congo.
Oh, Congo. Okay, I can remember that. I've been to Morocco,
Okay.
Africa. So okay, so Kangen water. So there we go. So and that's how I've remembered things my whole life when I can't remember some things, So I know I have the hearing loss, and that's just where it is. But it is Kangen, and I will have it in show notes. And today's sponsor happens to be Here Communication, which will be able to find Debbie Day Carlson's old-fashioned Facebook linked on that. And also, do you have a website where people can see those testimonials, or do you have that?
I have a website, California, all spelled out,
Okay.
and then Kangen. So CaliforniaKangen.com.
.com. Well, that's easy to remember. Even I can remember that and put it right there in my show notes for everybody. And I will verify it with you. And I know on your bottle here, you have your number. So I'll just read that. But it's 858-208-8151. And her name is Debbie Carlson. And right here it is KALIFORNIAKAGEN.com. So it's right here on this bottle, which I didn't honestly see it before. But we are kind of running out of time, but I so appreciate your being on Sound Advice, a hearing friendly business podcast. And I appreciate all the stuff. And did you have an opportunity to use a transparent mask, or did your daughter try them with her business?
I love the transparent mask. It's awesome. And I did wear it. Uh, I don't know if I ran into anyone who was having hard of hearing, but it was nice to show my smile.
Oh,
So
yeah. Well, you've got a great one. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I was coming over to your house a couple weeks ago, then I actually, let's see, I'm not sure on the direction. So in my mind, it was 5 doors up, but I went to the wrong address. I went to the 87 address rather than your address. The same number, the first couple of numbers are the same. We don't need to tell the whole
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
But it was interesting that that lady came to the door and she said, I can't hear. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, she's got the black screen in front of her. I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't see her either. And so I told her who I was and what my name was and all this kind of stuff. And she, of course, most of us don't wear our hearing aids at home. So that's one of the things we don't do. But you can get a little lapel button like this or the signage behind, and you can put that if you choose to on your front door that says has hearing loss, because there's an area in Laguna Beach where they say resident is hearing impaired. That word hearing impaired, some people like it, some people don't. Some people like hard of hearing, some people don't. Some people like hearific and terrific, which is a term I came up with. But I also have those little signage that you can wear on your body if you're walking, hiking, jogging, snow skiing, or boarding, where you can put it on your back so people can actually see that you have a hearing loss. But thanks for wearing that, and keep wearing it, because a lot of times people with hearing loss don't have the assertiveness, will be kind to me, assertiveness that I have, or some other people that I've recently had on my podcast who are hard of hearing also. Yeah. So I think we're going to call this a day for now, but we're going to turn it over to Doug Sandler. He is with Turnkey Podcast and also Nice Guys in Business. And he has actually interviewed Adriana Huffington, and many other people. So he's a great guy to get to know if you have somebody you want to follow or have him follow you. And in the meantime, right here, California, spelled out, KANGEN.com. And that's where you can find Debbie Carlson to get the kind of water that will help you stay young. And I learned the other day that and happy and
Yeah.
healthy. And I learned the other day that some person lived till 117 over in Europe. So I'm looking forward to my 120, Debbie, and I feel like I look younger already. So there we go. fun. And it's been good to see you. And I'll see you in just a moment. Okay.
It's great to see you. Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye for now.